So welcome to GVN Interviews. I'm talking to director Michelle Krusiec about her short Nian, which can be seen right now on Hulu as part of their bite-sized Halloween short film collection. First of all, thank you so much for joining me. I'm such a huge fan. I really liked you in Hollywood, and one of my all-time favorites, The Invitation. And I while doing my research, I got to see your Made in Taiwan, your one-woman play, which I thought was really pretty great.
You watched the whole thing?
I watched the first part.
Okay, maybe, okay, all right. Amazing. Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then your monologue for Sir Thomas More was also really great.
Oh, wow, you went for it. A good deep dive.
Yeah, well, I like to really get to know my subject here. So yeah, but what I think is great is especially watching like the stuff that I did watch in Made in Taiwan, it actually kind of put the short film in better perspective, which I thought was really cool. So jumping right in, I guess it's probably safe to assume that not only do you bring a lot of your cultural identity to this film, but also to an extent your personal experiences as well.
Yes, I would say I didn't intend to do that when I pitched it, but as I was writing, I started to think of well, what racist bully experiences have I had, and so yeah, the Tammy character in the short film is based on the Tammy in real life when I was in 7th grade.
Oh wow. Yeah, and I think, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my review, but I think the balance is so well because you do get the humor, but it's it's deeply horrific, not only just because it's really creepy and scary, but just the real life horror of there's really shitty people, pardon my language, that do exist out there. So yeah, now was the Nian something that was like something you grew up with as far as like hearing the stories? And
No, it wasn't. I about 3 years ago, my son came home. He goes to a Chinese language program. This is, I'm wearing the school t-shirt. And he came home with a Chinese story that he was supposed to practice and say. And so I was watching it with him, and it was about the Nian and why Chinese New Year is celebrated the way it is. And you may or may not know, but there's fireworks involved, big parade, there's the dragon dance. And the whole point of Chinese New Year is to be really loud and celebratory. And the origin of that was because back in the origin of this myth, it was trying to keep away this monster, which was the Nian. And the monster doesn't like loud noise, doesn't like the color red. And so hence you would paper your house in red, and you would put up, warning, like good luck symbols to keep the evil away and keep the monster away. And I didn't know this myth. So when I pitched it, I was drawing from this. And then I was sure to ask a lot of my friends or just people I encountered, and I would just randomly say, do you know this myth, the Nian? And a lot of people said, yeah, oh yeah, it's like the Chinese boogeyman for kids. And I was like, oh, this is great, because the more I started to learn about it, the more I started to realize, like, oh, this has been in existence, but no one's really done a story about it.
Yeah, and that's what I thought was so fascinating, because again, it's something that I was like really floored by, but just like also wanted to educate myself a little bit more, which I thought was really great. I mean, it's always pretty amazing to have a film that challenges you, but also like makes you want to like maybe do a little bit of a deep dive on the subject.
Yeah, that was my hope. I was hoping that I could be the one to say, hey, maybe sorry, I'm just gonna, well, maybe one of the lines that the grandma says will become a meme. But I thought it would be a really neat thing that if no one wants to depict racism, but if the outcome is that now you have a little bit of a response of what happens in this situation, and you get to learn about the culture in this really unique way. I was like, wow, I've hit like, 3 home runs there. So I was very excited to tell this story.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it as you say, it is like good to yes, it is uncomfortable to talk about that's like racism, but you can't ignore it. It's something that we need to keep having a dialogue about. And
I'll just to add on to there, because of the pandemic and all of the violence that was being inflicted on my community, it's been on the forefront of my mind, which is, trying to have a way to talk about that in an imaginative way. That was also part of it too, it was really in response to so much of the violence that I was witnessing.
Yeah. And again, it's so gut-wrenching to, I mean, like that stuff like that happens, but yeah, it's very difficult, but necessary, I think. Now this short does have a lot of humor. I think you get that balance exactly right, which I think is probably very tricky to get the horror, the humor. Not saying that it's a comedy, but there are some really funny moments or some levity that I think helps balance it out. And the main protagonist, Gertie, confronts the bullies with that amazing like line, which I'll just say it's rather colorful. Was that something that the actor, did you have to do a couple takes, as far as like, was it something that—
Yes. Okay. My sweet actresses, one who was definitely not a racist and didn't even know how to do some of the racist noise. I had to kind of like pitch it right. I was like, it doesn't sound racist. It's gotta be more incendiary, And my, protagonist, Gertie, Lauren May, that was a colorful line for her, and she was trying to figure out how to say it, so it was very sweet and informative for me that, luckily that, these were two actresses who really were taking on characters, really, and nobody wants to deal with an actress who's getting triggered and traumatized, but yeah, we did quite a few takes. I later on, I was like, oh, you know what? I should have just told her, make her eat shit on that line. Like, I didn't come up with that direction. But that was something where we were trying to figure out how to do it in a way that was dramatic yet funny,
Now, is this something like that you would be interested in expanding to a feature film?
Yeah. In developing the short, I really had to come up with ideas of, well, is this family a family of Nian? Why is the grandmother a Nian? Why we couldn't afford the VFX to create what could be the real creature in the way the myth tells it, right? Which is supposed to be kind of like this half dragon, half lion. Visually, that's a very hard thing to tackle. So the question was, poetically speaking, how does a human represent the essence of the Nian? And that in and itself creates a limitation, and also is a doorway for, well, yeah, how does that happen to this character that this grandmother is the Nian? And where did this mask come from? What's the origin of that? And being that I love origin stories, it's created a great way for me to kind of think about it and embrace the limitations, and also use them as jumping off points for ways of storytelling, innovative ways. Yeah,
and I think I actually kind of like the fact that you don't really see, like, you see the Nian, but like you don't really like, it's more just like left to your imagination. So do you think, like, given a bigger budget, would you keep it a little bit like that, or would you want to actually like see it more? Or
A little bit of both. I think good storytelling, it's like Jaws, right? You want to see the shark, but you don't want to see the shark. So I think at some point in the feature, you would definitely get to see it. But I've grown up in a tradition of like, when I watch Aliens, when you finally get to see the mother alien, right? It's so awe-inspiring. So you do want that payoff, but too many days with the alien increases your budget. So so you have to be really smart about how much you get to show the monster. And also work with the fact that, just budgetarily, if you're in a smaller budget, you have to be wise with how you spend that money.
Yeah, but that's very exciting to hear that we could possibly get a feature-length film out of this, because I think it's really fantastic. I showed it to my husband, and he was watching it mostly like this. So. Now, the Amma, who is the grandmother in this, she has that wonderful moment where she sticks her tongue out the end. Was that scripted? Was that something that was improv?
That was scripted. I think the idea was that we would kind of push in on that black tongue.
Oh.
But that's the way it ends is the way it was meant to be. And but that was a scripted moment, because I think there was this moment for me, which is, it's a fever dream, right? That the mask allows this character to have a fever dream. But then the question is, I didn't want a complete Deus Ex Machina ending where it was just a big dream, right? So I kind of wanted a little bit of both. Like there's the hint of the weight of what happened really did happen, but the gore and the violence of it happening could also be ambiguous, and that I could have the best of both worlds was what I was going for.
Nice. And now, of course, you're no stranger to horror projects. Actually, you have something that's currently on Shudder right now that you are starring called "They Live in the Gray." Are you a big horror fan?
I am a scaredy cat when it comes to horror. For me, horror in the world of like Jordan Peele, to me, where there's a bit of comedy, I get some respite from it. I would say the answer is yes. Am I a true horror fan in terms of maybe, really knowing all of my horror? I don't want to betray those horror fans by saying yes to that. But I'm definitely a horror fan when it comes to the themes that it deals with, and some of the more social horror comedies. And if those socially political horror comedies, I should say. For me, I am a fan in that respect. But I couldn't honestly tell you, like Human Centipede. Have I seen Human Centipede? Do I want to see Human Centipede? No. But the things that I see on Bite Size Halloween, to me, those are the kinds of movies where I am eager to press play. The longer versions where I have to sit through 2 hours, I do get a little bit more scared. My imagination does freak me out quite a bit when I'm alone at home at night.
Now, speaking of, did you have besides your own, did you have a favorite of the Bite Size Halloween shorts?
I haven't seen this year's because, believe it or not, I just delivered the movie, and I've been working on a movie right now. So they just were released on Saturday, and I'm familiar with some of the filmmakers who are on it, but I haven't had a chance to really kind of just sit down and enjoy it. I know from a previous season, the ones that I saw, I know Rebekka was one of my favorites. I really enjoyed that one from a previous season. I enjoyed quite a bit of them. Clock was another one that I believe that's the title. But for this year's, I'm really looking forward to seeing them, and I haven't had yet the opportunity to do that.
Well, you were definitely in for a treat. They are great, and I just love the wide range of different experiences and walks of life that it covers, which is fantastic. Now, speaking of upcoming projects, what can fans expect from you next?
Well, this movie that I'm working on, I co-wrote. It's called Tiger Mom, and it's about it's about the pressures Asian tiger moms put on not only their children, but on themselves to succeed. And so that's a dark comedy. And you know, I'm just completed. I've just completed 2 other films. One is a movie with Michael Pena called A Million Miles Away, and the other one is called it's American Girl, which is it's a franchise film about the American Girl doll. So I've been kind of working more as an actor, and with Tiger Mom as an actor and a writer. And right after I wrap, you know, hopefully I'll get a chance to pitch the feature of Nian.
All right, great. Well, it looks like that's time, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk about your excellent film. I will make sure to link your YouTube channel so everybody can check out some of the really amazing work you do. And just to wrap up, you all can check out Nian on Hulu, the bite-sized horror short film collection, which I highly recommend.